bestie, Tracy here. Welcome to my channel. So I want to show you guys the book that I am getting into, and I'm very excited to be reading this book because I saw it in the house and I read the blurb and I was like, okay, this sounds very interesting. But when I was reading the blurb, I got angry. I was and in my head I'm like, I don't even know the ending. I don't know if my anger is justified. So I need to read this book so that my anger can be justified. And that is this book right here. It is Stay With Me by Ayòbámi Adébáyò, who is a Nigerian writer. I've never heard of her, so I'm very excited to read. And it's about a couple who have been having difficulty getting pregnant, and then one day the mother-in-law comes to the house with a younger lady and introduces the lady as the second wife, and I was like, what? What was the husband in all this? So I need to read it to justify my anger. I don't even know why I'm angry. It ain't my relationship, but yeah, it's a good premise and I want to finish reading it by tomorrow. My sister is coming back tomorrow. I'm using that as a time buffer, and then I'll be like, remember this book of yours, Sister Dearest, that made me angry. I've already read the first chapter, which is like 3 pages, and this book, in what I can see, is based in the 80s. I could be wrong, but I think it goes, we do have past and present times, and so the first chapter was in the future, 2008, and chapter 2, I can see it starts in 1985. So I hope the writer didn't just spoil the whole plot and just didn't, make it very obvious in the first chapter, because the first chapter tells you something. I don't want to spoil it, but since it's based in the present, in 2008, in the future, then it says a lot. Let me just say that it says a lot. So anyway, I want to start getting into the book, into chapter 2. The chapters I can see are very small. Not small. Yeah, the chapters are small, not many pages, which means I can fly by. But let's see. So I just finished chapter 2. It wasn't that long. And it's action packed in the sense that there's not really a lot going on, but a lot going on. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm angry. I'm really angry. And I just realized I had said it was the mother-in-law who brought the new wife, but apparently it was, or it is, does it say here? Because at the back it says her in-laws arrive at her doorstep, but it was, yes, her in-law, her the husband's uncle, but one of her co-mother, is that what it is? I don't know. Like, the dad had multiple wives, so one of the wives, and I'm like, damn. And the way she speaks about the mother-in-law, I feel like unless the mother-in-law has seen her through this whole progress of trying to get pregnant and is a tad bit and maybe understandable than what these other people who we've been introduced are like. That's my reasoning, and I kind of feel bad for it because there's a place that she says, "I wish that she was here." The mother-in-law was there. Where is it? Yeah, I wish my mother-in-law was there. She was the only woman I have ever called mommy. I visited her more often than her son did. Mommy was there with me when I sat on a prayer mat for 3 days, chanting words that I didn't understand over and over until I fainted on the third day, cutting short what should have been a 7-day fast and vigil. At least she has someone she wished that could be here with her. That just shows like a softer relationship she has with this woman who happens to be her mother-in-law. But that doesn't mean that the mother-in-law doesn't like pressure her give me grandchildren and things like that. We still have no much information to go about their relationship. But just these two chapters, I'm just like, not even two chapters, this chapter two, I'm just like, hey, well, it is also very interesting to see the culture in Nigeria, especially at that time, whereby the wife would have to kneel a lot of times, like when you know visitors come in. That is how they correct me if I'm wrong. They would introduce themselves, or not introduce, open the house for like welcome them. And she's very calm. Yeah, Jide is very calm. So we are seeing it from her perspective. She's very calm. She's the lady. She's the first wife because now the second wife has come, has been introduced. She's very calm. Me, yeah, let me tell you, me would have packed my bags. I don't know. Marriage is hard. I would have packed my bags there and then, and been like, yeah, I'm I'm not a sharer when it comes to my husband, but she she's much more calmer. Maybe she's not very calm, but she's calmer than what I would have imagined anyone going in that situation. But for me, I have no first-hand knowledge. It's just my thoughts, so I don't know. I think I will continue reading this. I am on page 17 now, which is the starting of chapter 3. It is about 7:30, and this is how much wait how much in the book I am. I have just finished part 1. I didn't even know it was divided in parts. I should have seen. But I'm getting into part 2. I don't know why I keep getting angry. I am so angry at this book, and that shows me how the whole plot is really good because it you know it makes you feel those raw emotions. And this young lady, our female main character, Yejide, is going through it, man. She's going through it, and she seems a tad bit crazy. And I'm just like, baby girl, I'm so sorry you're going through it. The guy, the husband, Akini, is it Akin seems to actually love the wife, even though there's this whole second wife plot happening. And so he genuinely seems to, I'm saying seems because, it might be different, but his feelings do seem genuine towards her. And even everyone else around them can see that, including the mother-in-law. But there was a bit off on the mother-in-law when we last spoke. But yeah, so it's really sad because actually some people still go through this. And when I was telling my sister the premise of this, she was like, "Is that an African book?" I'm like, yeah, does this only happen in Africa? I don't know. At least now I would say people are more willing to like walk out if it's something that they themselves don't want. But in the 80s, because this is set in the 80s and also in the present being 2008 is what I have seen so far. So maybe that time it would have been so much harder to like get out of that marriage. Will I continue reading it or should I give myself time to like simmer down? I think I can continue reading it. I want to get to page, let's see, 120 would, oh, that's a lot. I'm saying 120 because that will be chapter 18. Can I get to chapter 20? So that I read 10 more chapters, let's see. That will be 126. That will be, I'm holding it. That will be this much. Can I do that? And now I am in page 100 and what? Oh, not 100. I'm in page 73. It's doable, right? Okay, guys, what is this book? Okay, I don't even know where to start. Where should I start? Okay, it is going to 12 a.m. midnight. This is how much I have left. Can you all see where the bookmark is? Only have this much left. I am on chapter 27. I'm supposed to start chapter 27, which is page 165. And what the hell is going on? The plot twists in this book are like ridiculous. Not ridiculous in a like really badly written, but ridiculous in the sense of what the hell is this? There was one like plot twist that I did see it coming because we had some sprinkle of information some chapters prior, and but the way the writer tells it, you're like, okay, you're very invested and you're like, oh my god, what? But this last plot twist, I'm just like, what on earth? I was starting to not like the female main character and Yejide. Beginning, I was feeling for her. I'm like, oh my god, I feel for you. I still feel for her for everything that she's going through. But then later on, we learned some couple of things, and I was like, ah, damn it, girl. I was like, my heart was all for you, but now you do this, and this happens. But then there's this whole plot twist that just happened, and I'm like, girl, I cannot hate you because what is your life? And now I'm just like, do I hate the husband? Like, I really want to finish this book. I really want to finish this book, but it's getting late. It's way past my bedtime. I'm normally in bed by 9:30, and I'm just like, guys, I finished. I finished today morning at around 10, and I loved this book. At the end of the day, it just made me feel such raw emotions from the get-go, from the premise, just from the premise, it just made me feel anger and sadness, and I think that is good writing and that's a good author. So I really did enjoy this book. I stayed up till like the last time we talked was around 12 midnight. I slept at around 12:30 going into 1, and then I woke up and the first thing I picked up was this. So it was good. It was great. It was very engaging. My jaw was on the floor in some scenes, and I was like, oh my god, marriage is scary. But yeah, so this is a story that follows Yejide and Akin. They are a married couple in Nigeria in the 80s. They've been married for a couple of years and they're having trouble conceiving. And so one day, Yejide's stepmother and Akin's uncle come home, and they come with this young lady and introduces the young lady as Akin's second wife. And now from there we get to see how they maneuver their marriage after this. It is quite interesting. There's so much that is packed here. I even did a review on my tracker. That is what I'm looking at. And so I just loved this book, and it's been a while since I read African literature and actually enjoyed, and so I'm very surprised that I really did enjoy this book. So my first impressions: beautiful cover. The premise is what got me into the book because I was angry and I kept telling myself I need, if you hear noises, that's my nephew. So I kept telling myself I need to justify my anger by reading the whole book because I just cannot be no. Sorry, that's my nephew. So what was I even saying? Yeah, so I kept telling myself that I need to justify my my anger by reading the whole book. I don't know if I've talked about the genre. It's African literature. The setting was it is the 80s Nigeria. So there's a dish like a kidogo kidogo. There's a bit of historical fiction in that sense. And yeah, the author is Ayòbámi Adébáyò. And I have put her other book in my TBR. Themes we get to see themes such as loss and navigating grief. We get to see marriage, love. We get to see culture and traditions because there's a lot of uh cultures within that. Let me see the family, and for me it just got me thinking of marriage in terms of where in terms of where and how even in-laws can just mess up your marriage by being too nosy or being too invested in that marriage. So the writing style of this book, if you have read an African literature before, you know how the writing is. It is somehow, I don't want to say poetic. We have this like undertone of it having like a parable. Okay, the sentences are parables, like there's deeper meaning than what is being said. And when I was reading this, it just reminded me of a lot of the books that we are reading back in high school, the ones which we had to chambua, the ones which we had to do like book reports on. So it did remind me a lot of that. And if you've been like how we used to write English compositions and insights, like there's so much. That's not how it was written, but there's just an underlying meaning to a lot of the what's it called of the sentences, and how they even describe things is very different. Like I think I mentioned it, when her breasts become like sweet oranges. Like who says that? If not in Africa. Like, oh damn, okay. Yeah, I did not mind it at all. It's something I think I'm used to it, and a lot of the things I could understand. I couldn't. Some there's some parts where it's written in the language in a. I don't want to say Nigerian because I don't know. There are different like languages in Nigeria, but I think the author did do a good thing of explaining, even though it's not word by word what the phrases mean. Okay. The pacing I think was really good. It's action based, like things are happening, things are moving, and it's not a slow burn whatsoever. I don't think it's drawn out. I think the pacing is just good. It's okay. Let me tell you guys. The plot here was even out the window. At some point, it was like, this is what I came for, but this is not what I got. I got more than what I came for, but it flowed so well, and I don't think there were any plot holes that I could see. If you've read this and you've seen like a plot hole, please let me know in the comments. There were a couple of plot twists. There's one that I unconsciously knew it was going to happen because we had a sprinkle of, you know, information um in prior chapters. But the way she brought it up, I was still like, I knew deep down that this was going to happen, but the way she brought it up, like the writing, Miss Ayòbámi, your writing is really good. And then there was another plot twist at the end of the book, like nearing the end. I was like, oh my god, my jaw on the floor. Because what? Why? How? Why? Why? Wh- Why? That was me. I was just like, so this is love? No. So this is not love. I was just like, what is happening? People are going through it in marriages, bro. But yeah, there were a couple of plot twists that I enjoyed reading and I did not enjoy reading because I was just so much into, the book. Character wise, I don't think there's a character that I loved who was lovable from the start to the end. I did feel pity and sad for Miss Yejide, who is a female main character, just because there's a lot of things that was going on in her life, and then it reached a point where I started getting angry with her just because there was something that started with her, but I did not know the full story. So when I got the full story, I started feeling sorry again for her, and I'm like, oh my god, girl, oh, I know it was in the 80s, but damn, she was going through it. The male main character, Mr. Akin. Anyway, so overall, I think this is a very nice book. I rated it, or I'm going to rate it because I did not rate it on my review. I'm going to rate it a 5 out of 5 star because I was just so captivated in it, even though it's something that was just bringing anger out of me. It was very captivating. I did not want to put it down. I was ready to sacrifice my sleep. I was already sacrificing my sleep because I'm in bed by 9:30. So it was really nice. The overall plot was good. The writing was good for me. I can see how it might not be straightforward, or the writing being straightforward or very extremely well written for other people who are not really accustomed to proverbs and parables. But for me, it was good writing. Characters, I didn't find any character holes as well. Everyone honed their characters the way they were created, and I liked that. Emotional impact, Miss Ayòbámi made me angry. But that's a good writer, and yes, I would reread it, and yes, this is one of my favorites, and yes, this is a 5 star for me. Would I recommend this book? 100%. But just check trigger warnings. By the way, let me just say a couple of trigger warnings here. So if you are a person who doesn't like to know trigger warnings before you go into a book, skip. Or thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like if you've enjoyed this. Subscribe. But there was a lot to do with polygamy. There was a lot to do with, there was incest. I know someone will say, "Oh no, not incest. It's not really incest. It's incest." No matter how you quote it. For me, it was. There was grief. A lot to do with grief. A lot to do with barrenness. So if that is triggering, you just know there's that. Navigating, um, barrenness in a marriage, navigating, loss in a marriage, navigating in-laws in a marriage, that can be triggering. I wouldn't know, but it can be triggering. So yeah, those are some of the trigger warnings that I saw. What else? But it's a really nice book. I would say pick it up. I would say eat it and devour it. It's a 5 star from me. Pick it up so that you can come and tell me, Tracy, I picked it up. Let's talk about it. I want to, like, you know, rant about this. So yeah, if you've read this book, let me know, how was it for you. Did you enjoy it? What did you not enjoy? Is there anything? Are there plot twists? Because I'm getting back into like reviewing books. I used to do that in high school. It was a requirement, and so I'm just getting back, and I might miss something. And also, reading is very subjective. What I see might not be what you see or pick up, and what you pick up is not what I might pick up. So let's talk about it. And who was your favorite character here? So let me know in the comments. And I will see you guys on the next one. Oh, this was. I haven't read a physical book in a while, so I love that I was reading this in its physical form. And it smells nice. And I finished it before my sister came. So, yeah, for me. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. Keep on reading.